up, everyone? We are live here on Catch 22. I am here with my co-host, Nicole Peterson Simmons, and with current Charlotte Hornets video coordinator and former UNC basketball player, Jackson Simmons. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Just had a big win last night against the Raptors and really came together as a team. And we had 2 good days of practice, so it was really good for our guys to feel a lot of what we used to be playing like. So we're going to try to keep it going and make a push in the second half of the year. But thanks for having me on. This is quite an honor, and Nicole's been saying a lot about what you guys have been doing with this, and I think it's a great idea. And I told her don't hold anything back.
I will not hold back. So for those of you who don't know, Jackson and I are actually married. So going on 4 years, but we've been together for 6 years. And
6 years yesterday.
Yeah. And basketball actually.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Thank you. So basketball actually is what brought us together. So
literally.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I got her flowers yesterday. And 6 years ago, I was at UNC Charlotte, and we play University of Texas San Antonio, and it was a double overtime game, and that's where we met, and that's where we reconnected again. And I told her yesterday when I wrote a note for the flowers, I said, "You got us a win 6 years ago. We need one tonight." And we played our best game of the year. So I guess I just send more flowers just every day that we play. Don't you think?
Yes.
That's true. I think that's a smart thing to do. Flowers and Nicole, good luck charm right there.
Well, it's relationship 101 for all you guys, and even women out there. That's what you got to do. Know your spouse, flowers, candy, the whole nine. Works every time.
Just be consistent.
Yeah, be consistent.
But anyway, so Jackson, you hold a record in the state of North Carolina. Do you care to share that with us?
So I hold the career rebounding record in the state of North Carolina. And a lot of people have given me a lot of crap about that, because they ask, does that mean that a lot of your teammates missed? And I said, well, yeah, it worked both ways. I mean, my teammates had misses, but then there were also some that I missed that I got my own rebound for. So I guess you could say that I padded my stats a little bit. So there's no telling how many of those were missed shot attempts by me. So it can't all be the credit of my teammates missing. Some of it has to be me missing the shots too. But no, it's something that I'm real proud of. A lot of great players have came through this state at the high school level, and it's just a testament to hard work and will. To me, rebounding is, the debate can be sometimes, is it all about skill? And I think the simplest thing is that the skill is always having an eye for the ball and knowing your angles, but a lot of it too is just not being so easy to box out and just being a constant moving target. A lot of the great rebounders in history, and even some of the great rebounders on our team, they don't stop moving. And It's not just with their feet, but there's sudden movements that they use with their hands too that aren't deemed fouls. So it's just, at the end of the day, it's a willingness to not settle and to go get the ball. And what people don't realize is once that shot goes up, it's a 50-50 ball. It's possession. So it's really who wants to get the possession of the ball. And I think that all comes down to just the simple fact of how bad do you want it.
Exactly. I agree. It's you give effort to it. It's really more of an effort game, like you said, than a skill game. Of course, it takes skill to be able to see and get your angles, but at the end of the day, it's all about how much do you want it. And people don't realize that it's not really on your first move that you're able to get space for the rebound, but it's on your second move. Whenever you go and they box you out, then you hit your counter move or, go a different way, your second effort to go get the board, and that's when you usually get it. But people don't really realize that. I see a lot of people who just settle on the box out rather than kind of make that effort to get around, because most people aren't going to continue boxing out after that first effort.
Right. And also I think it's key too to, we spend so much time talking about knowing your personnel, KYP on the defensive end, But a lot of your great offensive rebounders know the personnel of the guys that they're playing with, and knowing their shot tendencies, knowing their body movements when they get into a certain area. And that's the one thing that I tried to do, even when I was in college, was just trying to figure out guys like Reggie Bullock, PJ Hairston, Marcus Page, knowing when they get to a certain area, where do they like their shots and what shots are they going to shoot and what shots are they going to pass up to try and get something else. So you have to know the personnel of the guys that are shooting and anticipating the shot. And it's not just on the defensive end that we got to know the scout report. It's also with your own teammates.
Yeah, that's true. Knowing your personnel is huge. Whenever, you're ready for them, when they're going to shoot their shot, whenever they like to get in their rhythm, you can just tell, especially as a teammate, you play with them so long, you paid attention to their tendencies, and then you're able to go ahead and establish that position early. You've heard as a coach and probably even said it, do your work early. And when you know your personnel, you're able to do your work early and get in that position to be able to give your best, yourself the best chance to get the board on that.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. So, John, I'm going to let you step in. Do you have anything you want to ask real quick before I get too deep into it?
No, go ahead. I'm ready for these questions that you got for them.
All right. I got a tough one.
Ooh.
Gate.
Interesting.
John, honestly, I'm just trying to decide if our marriage can survive this or not. But why don't you go ahead and tell our audience, John and myself and God, who your favorite team was growing up, your favorite college basketball team.
Wow.
Again, God is watching.
God is don't want to watch God, no matter what day of the week it is. So growing up, and I don't have a problem saying this, because I even have teammates that I knew that felt the same way, that also did the same thing. But for 7 years, I went to Duke basketball camp in Durham. Yeah. So hopefully that's not career suicide with me saying that.
The irony.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I learned a lot. Yeah. It was, Coach K runs a really good camp. I think the two best camps in the United States are UNC basketball camp and Duke, in that particular order. But growing up, I did go to Duke basketball camp. And it taught me a lot about the fundamentals of the game, and just the interaction that they had with the campers and the things that they did. I mean, every day at the time they had 3 assistant coaches: Chris Collins, Johnny Dawkins, and Steve Wojciechowski. And each day they would do a workout with their position. Coach Wojciechowski was bigs. Chris Collins was guards, and Coach Dawkins, he typically did guards, but he also did one thing too that was very funny. So they divided the campers into 2 sides, and it would basically be, you would shoot from spots. You had to go around the horn, and you had to make 5 shots as a group. And the losing group, he said, if you lost, you had to come in and run at 6 a.m. in the morning. And it got real competitive. I mean, you can imagine 8 or 9-year-olds just like cry because they don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. to go run. And that's the true story. And I think, I don't remember which coach it was. It might have been Wojo, but for 2 years, I was in one of those groups that shot, because I developed a little bit of a relationship with them and got to know him very well. And I made the game-winning shot on those spots to win it. So the irony of it, though, is I never scored at Duke. But that's that may have been the one thing that God was trying to make sure of. Okay, you're going to score here, and then not when you guys play Duke in the future. But no, I went to camp there from 2002 until summer 2007. And that was right before I started high school.
Mm.
Once high school started, I went to Carolina camp that summer, the summer of 08. And then after that, it was elite camps and team camps, because that's all you focused on during the summer. And it was, for my fundamentals, it was really good. It showed me how you need to work hard. And I'm sure that if I would have gone to Carolina for those 7 years as well, that there would have been a lot of similarities. But just from a standpoint of what was taught in the focus of the camp, it helped me in the future. And the irony of it is, I did go to Carolina, my state university, and I grew up later on really appreciating Carolina basketball and really saying, I really would like to play there. But at the time, that's where I wanted to go to basketball camp, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Not to school. My degree is at the University of North Carolina. And that was the best decision that I ever made. Just getting that out
Honestly,
there.
I'm sitting here listening to this, wondering how I ever, and now everybody should know this, I win every argument. But I'm wondering how, after listening to all that, he took us through a really detailed reasoning and then just came back to, that's where I wanted to go to camp.
Hmm.
Well, that
So
is the truth.
were you ever a Duke fan? Did you ever watch Duke basketball?
I watched Duke and Carolina basketball. Yeah.
I'm saying, but cheer them on, truly. Carolina and Duke are playing. You're 8 years old. Who are you cheering for?
Ooh.
Well, a lot of those games were at 9 o'clock at night, so I was in bed at that point. So I'm not really.
This man is good. He's good.
He's not usually. I don't know who this is, but it's not.
All right, say you're 15 years old, 16 years old. You're staying up a little later. Who were you pulling for?
I was being recruited at the time too. So at that point, I was just watching them play. I was
Okay, all right. You know what?
At that point, I was playing Halo and staying up with my buddies till 3 a.m.
You know what?
Hey, what people don't realize is I thought Xbox Live was the greatest thing in the world. No lie.
I know you put a
Yes.
whole feeling.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Literally.
Yeah, it was very competitive.
I'm just gonna call my in-laws and find out the truth of this matter. I obviously, I was with you through so far most of your coaching experience, but so I've heard my dad recruited you, obviously, and that's how we initially met. So we've known each other since I was 17 or 16, right? Initially.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, around that age.
And then so my dad recruited him, whatever, and it didn't end up obviously playing for my dad. He went to Carolina, and over the years we kind of kept in contact, whatever. But I'm gonna be honest, I mean, maybe I saw you play a game or two. I feel like those are years I wasn't paying too much attention to Carolina basketball. But anyway,
the hate and the hate of me not coming to play for her dad, you could tell that I had to win that over. I had to re-recruit her once we started dating.
it wasn't just me though. He had to recruit my mom. The first thing my mom, why? I haven't got to see you since you told Buzz no. Why? But anyway, my question to you is, I know I'm not the only one, or you've not just heard it, ask this, but I mean, it's people that know you, saw you play in high school, have seen you, your game. You could have easily gone to a UNC Wilmington, Appalachian State, a school like that, and been a starter as a freshman, probably carried all kinds of records there at the school. What was it? I know this answer, but I want you to let everybody else know. What was it that made you go to Carolina? I'm not saying obviously you were good enough to play there, but like I said, you could have easily just swooped in and on these other places and started as a freshman and stuff. What made you pick Carolina?
No, you're good. That's a good question. I'd have to say, in this is probably not going to be a very, it might be a little confusing what I'm saying, but I always used to, when I decided to go play at Carolina, I always tell people that it was stubbornness. And the stubbornness of that was that I was always a part of good teams in high school. I was very fortunate enough to play for the Charlotte Royals, Carolina Flight, and Team Loaded. And there were a lot of great players, a lot of great teammates. And my confidence grew during those times. And the other AAU team I forgot to mention was the Carolina Elite as well. And I developed a sense of, it doesn't matter who I'm playing against or what their rank is, I'm going to beat them when it matters most. And ultimately, I knew that I wanted to play at the Power 5 level. I'm like, okay.
That sounds like Cy.
So we went down there. They were actually getting ready to go to the Bahamas that year, on their every 4-year trip. And we were sitting in Coach Williams' office, and I asked him some questions. I said, what would my role be? How do you envision this evolving over time? And, there were no guarantees, which that's the one great thing about Coach Williams. There was never any guarantees with anybody that he ever recruited. It was always, you earned your playing time and you earned your role in this team. So at the time, I'm not really hearing anything that really gravitated towards me. But then the one thing that I always remember him saying towards the end was, if you come in here and you work, and this is the part where really grabbed me. And he said, which I know you will, you're going to have a chance to help this team in your 4 years here. Mm. And hearing that really gave me the sense of him saying, I know you're going to work hard, and I want you to come show that. And we were driving back, and I thought about it for a couple of days. Started seeing a lot of Carolina tags, a lot of Carolina shirts everywhere. And then the thing that kind of roped it all together was, my mom's she used to be a volleyball coach, and one of her assistants had just gone to Nassau. And that's where our every 4-year trip was. That's where my 4-year trip was my senior year. Mm-hmm. And I saw that shirt. And then right then I just said, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Right. So needless to say, just a few hours after that, I committed. And it truly was the fact that I believed that I could play there. I believed that I could compete against the best players in the state, in the country, and even the world. And on top of that, I knew that if I did that it would help me beyond basketball. And I knew that I wanted to be a coach. And the lessons that I've learned, not only with Coach Williams during that time, but also, Coach Hubert Davis, Steve Robinson, CB McGrath, Jared Haas, Joe Holiday, and Brad Frederick. It's lessons that I carry on even right now in my current role. And also, it also allowed me to branch out and learn under guys like Mark Price, Larry Hunter at Western Carolina, and then James Borrego right now with the Charlotte Hornets. And that's what I was hoping for, was that being able to learn and start my tree at Carolina would allow me to learn outside of that and connect with other people, great minds in basketball. And
right.
That's something that a lot of programs can't say, that there's a special bond like that and a special connection with being able to play at Carolina, and then also the connections that you're able to make there. I mean, I didn't play with Wayne Ellington, but about a month ago we played the Lakers, and I went up and talked to him and told him who I was, and he remembered me, and we struck up a conversation. And just being able to have that camaraderie and that Carolina family tie was something special, and it's a lot stronger than a brotherhood is.
Yeah.
So you can figure out what I mean by that, by the brother.
But well, can we just take a second to just appreciate, I mean, the fact of what basketball does. I mean, A, you and I met each other because of basketball, but then B, you two are connected.
Right.
From having the same coach. I
Right.
mean, you played with my little brother before he and I were ever together. And then now, like, we're doing this together, and you guys played for the same, for CB. Both of you guys. Yeah.
John, you played for CB?
Yeah, CV's my guy.
Oh my goodness. Now that is another episode that we could definitely do.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
man. So you played for Jackie, you played for
Jackie is my guy, man. Me and Jackie have had some of the best conversations, especially on the road, man. Jackie was my guy.
Jackie's on our list to interview, right?
Yeah.
He
CV
really
is.
He really
CV, yeah.
CV's on your list? Oh
Yeah.
man, I got to be a part of that one. I mean, but just the connection, like you were saying with that, I mean, and the life lessons that both of them have done for me, and then also you, John.
Right.
It's
Well, and then it's just so, like, I know Carolina has its family. Sorry, they're like hurting my ears. The connection with Carolina family, that's world known, or at least countrywide.
no, it's world.
Yeah, I mean, people know
It's
the
world.
Carolina family. Like, they know that those brothers, that y'all do everything for each other. But even aside from that, just coaching trees and stuff like that, it is the smallest world that I have ever been a part of in my life. I mean, I feel like, well, it's been my whole life, but being a part of the basketball, like whether it be coaching, playing, whatever, my world just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I meet these, when we were engaged, you were at Western Carolina and y'all were in the tournament, and I went up there for it, and you were playing East Tennessee State, which is where I went for a year or two, I think. Not where I ended up graduating from, but I went there. I enjoyed my time, but we were playing them, and I was walking past this gentleman and his fiance, and he stopped me and he was like, "Nicole?" And I was like, "Yes," and I just said, I was like, "Yeah, like, who are you?" And he was like, "I'm Brooke Savage. I was your dad's manager at Tennessee. Like, I remember you when you were," and I'm like, and he was the assistant for ETSU, which now he's at Wake Forest, but it blows my mind. And I think it is just so cool. I mean, the connections that you guys can make, the places you can go with that, what was it? I looked it up today because Rob, it was his senior day. And I think like 1.5% of kids in the United States ever make it to Division I sports. Yeah. And that's just Division I sports. That's not basketball, like just boys, whatever. So you're talking this like tiny percentage of people are experiencing the same thing. And I just think it's so great.